All right, so part one or part two, I guess, we had the overview of how this lab's going to work. So we're going to focus on our goal is going to start from the servers, work our way through the switch, through the core, and then we'll go to the router, and then from there we will go to red, green, and yellow. So there'll be separate videos for each one of these. I'm going to break the server and the switch into two parts. So there'll be two parts for blue, and red, green, and yellow will be each one part. The core will be one part, and the router will be in the same category because they're both very short things they need to do. So I'll probably put those two together, the core and router together. So this will be a separate little playlist. So this way, if you're having some problems, want to get this lab working and you're having a problem with which category, so you can go by each. That's why I'm going to break up the video into these different parts. So you had the overview kind of explaining it. So again, there's the documentation that goes with this. So again, we're going to set up the servers. So we're going to set up the IP addresses with the servers. Here we're going to be using here's all the information. So the physical servers, we decide we're going to put them in 192.168. So as a quick note, they are going to be in the server VLAN. So the server VLAN is going to be 5. And from there, we're going to start with 5 and then increment down to 10. So this would be 5, 15, 25, 35, 45. And this being the internet, so there's no VLAN for that. So that's going to be the VLANs for these. So let's go ahead and populate this data in here. So again, all the routers, default gateways are always going to end with 255s. Just how I'm going to roll with this. All right. So just going to move this over here so we can still see it, so it won't be so big. So let's go to the switch and let's look at how what's configured in here. So we already got the switch pre-configured, or the DHCP server pre-configured. Okay, so let's check. So we got the 1.address. Okay, perfect. 2 for DNS1, that'll work. Default gateway and 24-bit mask, perfect. So that's set up correctly. So now let's jump onto our services. Go to our DHCP. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so we can see here we have the server VLAN 4.4. So that would be, remember, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is going to be the printer. So that's the printer pool. Okay. All right, so now we're going to start with marketing. So we're going to change the name here to marketing. Make sure we don't have no spaces. And marketing is end with a 2. So we're going to start with a 2. Oh, we're going to leave the server alone. That's right. And then we're going to change this to start with 10. And then we're going to click add. So now we have our marketing done. We're going to go to sales. And we're going to change that to a 3. And we could change the DNS server to 2. No big deal. And we're going to change that to 3. Again, the default gateway is always going to change for each subnet. The DNS server is always going to be the same because we're not going to have DNS servers in these different VLANs. So this is how in the corporate world we have set up that way. All right, so now we're going to hit add. So there we go. Let's scroll down. So here we go. So they all should have 24-bit mask. Maxis are 25. They all end with 254. Perfect. Our DNS.1.3. So if we zoom up, we can see, DHCP. So I got to fix these two. So good catch to myself. All right. Hit save and save. All right. So we want to go ahead and fire up the service. and then that's it. So the next thing we need to do is create the DNS records for the 2 DNS servers. Alright, so let's go to DNS1. Let's pop this guy in here. Let's go to the desktop. Let's check its IP since it does not have one. Let's populate that information there. 192.168.1. And this is DNS1, so we're going to say .2 with the default mask. And the default gateway is going to be 192.168.1.254 because that's the subnet, and we're going to point to itself for DNS. There we go. So we got that done. So now we're going to go to service. We're going to scroll down to DNS, and then here we're going to do is just add these things in here. So I'm just going to copy and paste instead of spending all day typing because this would be a much longer video. And we're going to hit add. And here we go. We are creating our DNS records. We're basically just creating a bunch of A records. And here we go. And we're going to add the 2 web servers. And here we go. And voila. We're going to hit add. We're going to hit on. And there's nothing to save, so perfect. Now we're going to jump to DNS2. We're going to do the same thing. Make sure the IP address is set. So we're going to grab that IP. And then we're going to use the default. And again, we're going to point to itself for its own DNS. And we're going to change that so it is 254. Again, because that's the default gateway that we had chosen to use. And now we're going to go back to service. We're going to go to DNS. We're going to start with creating our records. Again, we're going to go here. Make sure you don't copy any spaces. And then click add. We're going to add our next DNS1, our 2, and there we go. We're pretty much going to have and let's check. And then we'll just double check everything to make sure it's good. And here we go. We're going to hit add. And there we go. Let's check the server again. We're going to go to desktop IP. All right, that looks correct. We're going to go to service. Go to our DHCP. The service is on. Okay. Okay, we have. So we have VLAN 2, VLAN 3, VLAN 4. Perfect, because we're not doing for the server farm, we're not doing any DHCP. All right, so that's a quick setup of the servers in Blue. So I'll see you guys in Blue Server Farm Switch video next. All right.